Hi all, welcome back. Match in Kharkov, German Soul Part 18. I think I misrepresented the previous part and thought I was only on 16 at the time, but yeah, it was 17 I've just put together just now. So this is part 18, I think. And some good bits of news, some relief for me. I know, okay, Martin's not Mr. Butterfield himself, but when we look, when we look for some guidance in this game, we all know that he's the one that generally comes up with the goods, as in the answers that you want to hear or the answers that you adhere to. So he said regarding my what do we consider these VP hexes to be 0 strength? This is occupied by a German unit with 5 strength. This isn't occupied, but does it count as having 0 strength? And pretty simple, he says it wouldn't make sense not to count them, or something along the lines. However, I just seen that he says I would consider empty hexes because it doesn't see why not. So that's good enough for me. So that was a relief. So I don't need to go back and redo all that bit. I suppose the other good thing, just to tag on to that bit, is I've had episode 14, part 14, up for a little while now, and it's only showing about 9-10 views, I think it was. However, I've not had any comments, which is kind of good news, because that was filled with a few things that I thought could maybe go wrong and collapse. That's not to say they're not to come yet, but it was just good to, when I just came up there just now, it's quite late at night now, I thought I'll just have a look. No comments came up, and I thought, that's good. But obviously I got some replies to my post on BGG, and Martin also replied to the other one regarding movement arrows, and he did say, he said he would mix and match between the two, just as we did in Enemy Action Ardennes. So I have to say, Martin, that you might be able to remember these these games quite well, probably a lot more than myself, but I remember back to a bit about how it worked in Enemy Action Ardennes. But if we set it up on the table right now, my head would have to go into the rule book and that. Okay, I get the feeling you would probably find it quite comfortable, but all these things would have to be reviewed by me again, and so another bit of good news that we got I think we did. I may have rushed it at the end because I was getting a bit flustered. I think that last unit we moved to 13, but I do think it was right. I think the big one about being 4 hexes away from where you start, and we're talking about an infantry unit here, so I mean 4 hexes away from where you start for an infantry unit as the most that you can get. So I think as long as you're going by that, and then I think the last one, it was the fact that there was a preference about using primary arrows only. But I dare say if there's a choice between primary arrows only and not, and it preferences still to a closer hex, obviously that's where you're going to go. Anyway, so good that one's come back with a thumbs up as well. So and like I say, no comments telling me that anything's went wrong up to now. Okay, right, well we try and do something then. Right, well it's our chance to do something. Oh, and I suppose the other good bit of news, that was us. We went through 2 German impulses there. They got a double impulse on that turn, and we still have our 2 victory points intact. However, I couldn't have done it any differently, could I? There's nothing I could have done. I mean, I activated second SS, and as you can see up here, maybe move that across a bit, so it's probably in the middle of then I can't activate second SS this turn. We do have the 4th Panzer Army card ready to do that, but we can't do it. So, right, yeah, and we can't get into any of these 2 victory point towns without, you know, with units that are not second SS, we can't reach. So we're just having to hope that there's going to be another 2 impulses go by again without. Now the other worry now is the 6th Army activating, because they will sneak into there. So we've now got the fear of yeah, we've now got the fear of 3rd Tank, Mobile Group Popov, or 6th Army. So this is yeah, it's going to be a tough couple of cards when we turn the cards over. That could be quite big. Okay, right, well, let's see what we can do then. We can't activate second SS, so let's see what we can do. Okay, so there's our hand. Yeah, it seems quite clear that we don't want to use this card, because if we get through the next Soviet impulse, we can use this card to secure 2 victory points that are on the board or getting taken away from us. So I have to keep that. I mean, obviously after I play a card, I'm going to draw another card, but then I can't rely on that finding me something. So the other 3 options, core rouse. Do we have any events there? No. So no events to look at. So we've got and they're all full activations, right? Okay. We don't have any reserves still. So yeah, it's well, they activate any 1 unit, but that's not going to help us either. It's not that we've got somebody that could grab one of the victory points that is proximate. It's only the second SS units that are proximate. So it's either going to be an activation of core rouse. We've got this guy with an IP, and this guy that's in a bit of trouble, but well, yeah, he's probably in a whole lot of trouble, but he's still holding a line there. So, and he's in the woods. Yeah, I mean, would moving him across the river be an idea? Well, you know what, it wouldn't be a terrible idea, because then we think, well, this guy could come right across here, but he can't because of him. So I mean, if we were to move him across the river here, it's a better position. But I mean, I'm going to activate core rouse just to do that, because I don't think these guys need to move yet. I think they're, well, yeah, I think they're pretty good, really, because this guy's got an IP, and this guy's adjacent to him. I mean, okay, he's probably going to get targeted first, and we've still not had an activation of 40th Army, but my guess could be that 40th Army might well come adjacent to this guy and have a go. I don't know where they are. They get an army objective marker, and I'm not sure where that goes yet. We've not managed to get that, and like I say, we've not drawn a 40th Army card. I'm still not quite sure how we went through the first turn and avoided it. I hope I didn't make a mistake there. I can only assume that we drew it at near the end when it didn't shuffle in the primary card for them. Anyway, so yeah, core rouse doesn't look like a meh, and 40 core. Yeah, I'm not ready. I mean, third core looks like the card, doesn't it? Because we did talk about trying to make some adjustments down here. Maybe trying to bring the line coming down a little bit, because this guy looks vulnerable, so maybe try and bring some support for him, but not break this line that we've got. Not sure. I mean, we've only got we've got 5 units in there, but remember, this guy can't move, so whatever we move, he's got to stay as part of the line, if you like. So it would be nice also the fact we're moving them just now. I know there's a lot of the turn to go, but maybe just to get somebody in behind him, maybe. But I don't know if we've probably not got the units for all that, really. I get the feeling that's probably out of the 4 cards we've got. I get the feeling that's probably the card that we want to do something like that, isn't it? I think so. I mean, combat tactic. Yeah, that's the thing. This is probably the best combat tactic we've got. But it would be, yeah, and it's on a card that you want to use. That's just typical, isn't it? Anyway, okay. Right, I think I'm going to activate third core. Okay, yeah, so I think I'm doing this. I was just having a little think off camera there. Now I've got a cube marked here for yeah, I guess that unit. Thinking 1, 2, 3, 4. I thought initially about trying to get them in there, but I don't think that's a good idea. Well, I can't. I've not got the movement. It's 1, 2 breaking zone of control, and then it's 2 and another 3. So it's actually 7 movement for me to move him from there to there. But in there is not a bad place. It's adjacent to both these units, so it gives the core Rouse unit a little bit of support as well, being adjacent. It's hanging in there across the river, and it's giving this guy some support as well. It's also going to give this guy, and I know it's early in the turn, but at the moment it's going to give him a supply trace because he is surrounded. So it is moving that unit quite far down. So the worry there is, what do I do with the rest of the stuff? Do I maybe try and get this guy out? That's going to be tough because that's broken, isn't it? So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe adjacent to the 6/6 guy. And just leave the infantry there, building an IP. So he gets down there, and then what do we do with that guy? Maybe just switch places with him. Or basically we could just move this guy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into there, and that makes more sense. Well, actually, yeah, that does make more sense. And then build an IP on that guy as well. Because we get multiple IPs, don't we? It's the Soviets only get one. Place IP markers, yeah, pretty sure it does. Yeah, I quite like the idea of that. So what we do, that means we're leaving the infantry there, eh? Okay, let's just see then. So we're not going to move that guy, we're going to move this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 into there. So he's came from, sorry, no. Was it there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it was there, wasn't it? Yeah. I suppose he's moved away. Again, adjacency is quite good, but that guy, that looks quite good there. And he's just going to stay there, and we're going to bring this other unit. What did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's in a queer hex. There's in these logistic hexes, but obviously which draws attention, but we need to try and keep that line, I suppose. I mean, the other thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, I could move them into there. That's a broken hex. And you know what, maybe, because that is then adjacent to this guy as well. Because, yeah, adjacent's pretty good, isn't it? That is pretty good. It gives a guy a bit of support. and then these 2 units could build an IP. What do we think? What do we think of that? I don't really know. I'm looking at holding a line and wait a minute. That's moving into the artillery barrage zone, isn't it? Okay, let's not do that then. That's a pity. He was going to stay adjacent to the unit then. I mean, yeah, I could put him in there, I suppose. Yeah, we don't want to go in the artillery zone because it's active on turns 1 and 2, isn't it? It's turn 1 and 2, isn't it? Is it? I think so. Let's see, combat, should we tell you in there? Does not apply when defenders are on. Or 1 and 2 in the artillery barrage zone. Yeah, it's turns 1 and 2, so yeah, there's a bit of turn 2 to go yet. I don't think I want to be doing something daft like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there would be adjacent to him. I feel like that's just encouraging this guy to move into here next time he activates. And you know what? These are just the first guards units. Well, they've got 2 reserves, Grant, mind. They've got 2 reserves. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's where I was originally going to go. Should I just stick with that then? And I can't get adjacent to this guy. I mean, admittedly, I could move this guy adjacent, but I quite like where he is. He's across the big river there. So, yes. He's not going to get challenged by that 3 strength pop-off unit, though, is he? Yeah, I can't reach that hex anyway. So yeah, like I say, I could move that guy back so that they're both adjacent, but then I wouldn't be able to build an IP on that. Is that more important though? I mean, this looks more like more of a threat, isn't it? The 6 strength unit. So well, the other thought could be bring the infantry unit down to here and leave that guy where he is. So as in, leave that guy there and then bring the infantry 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that not creating a gap though? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. I'm just not so sure. I like the idea of this guy building an IP, so not moving him. But I'm not so sure about, I mean, well, in that, hold on, Grant. Well, in that fact, if you're going to do that, move this guy back. Hang on. Move this guy back. That's him all back. And then don't move that guy. Leave him there. So he'll build the IP. And use this guy, which we're going to use originally. 1, 2, 3, 4 into there. That's the guy you were going to use originally. Leave that guy sitting there. And then move this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 adjacent to that. Then you get build an IP, and there's not a gap. It does mean this unit can move. Well, no, he can't because of this guy. But even having the slighter risk in here is probably better than having the slighter risk in here, I think. Yeah, I like that. So this guy moved from there to there. And then this guy moved from there around to there. That's going to be all our movement. And we're going to build an IP. We can't build, he's got an IP already. We're going to build an IP on that guy and that guy. Yeah? We do get multiples, I think, don't we? And they just need to be in supply, I think. Yeah, at the end of German activation, you may place IP markers on active, undispersed, supplied German units that did not move or attack in the activation. So yeah, I'm going to do that. This guy did not move or attack. This guy did not move or attack. And I suppose I've not brought much down. I mean, this guy's come down. I did sort of want... Well, he couldn't move that far, though, from where he was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, he's moved his full distance. So he's in a position that could get further down now. A bit easier. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I think. So now we have activated third corps, and we no longer have a restriction on second SS, but we still got to draw 2 Soviet cards now. So yeah, I'll get IP markers put underneath these units and get the units back to how they should be, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, that's all done. Yeah, felt pretty decent, that. Like I say though, I don't know. I'm not so sure. Right, well, we need to draw up to our hand size of 4, so we're going to draw a new card again. So what we get? Right, 40 Panzer Corps. This is another supplemental card. It's not turn 4, so we're not getting that special. It does have reinforced battle, but yeah, not quite sure we're there yet. Yeah, so not really the best card there. Well, ideally, I think I was really looking for a second. If there's a second SS Kampfgruppe card, that would have been perfect, but not to be. So, well, we'll see if we get through. It depends. It might not matter anyway. It depends how we get through this next German Soviet impulse. Right. Okay. Well, let's just do that. Should be able to get this in tonight, and as long as it doesn't go on too long, get another part finished for the night. Right. Let's go on across and get the next 2 Soviet cards and keep our fingers crossed. Right. Here we go. Well, this time we don't want to see not just 3rd Tank and Mobile Group Popov. We don't want to see 6th Army as well. So, I mean, we did just have an activation of them. So, anyway, right, here we go. Right, 40th Army. Well, I've been due seeing one of them. So, come on, be nice. 6th Army units. It's going to be the auxiliary card though. Right, so no primary cards there. So we might get away with this. So this has got the higher command value. So this is going to be the command card. Oh, it's going to get shuffled in. Yes. It's command delay. Okay, good stuff. Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't think Kenan can go wrong here. He says. Right. So that's the setup, because no primary cards. This has got a higher command value, that's got the lower command value. We look for an event on the auxiliary card, and we get, from turn 1 to 5, we get a command delay. So we've been there before. Right, just to refresh. If this card's current auxiliary card and there are 4 or more cards in the Soviet draw pile, there certainly are, return this card to the draw pile and shuffle. Does not apply if not the auxiliary card or if there are less than 4 cards in the Soviet draw pile. So we get rid of the possibility, and we shuffle up the deck, the possibility that might have turned out to be a second impulse for them, and they might have activated that unit. I mean, it would have depended on a few things. You would think that it might take something like that into consideration, maybe, that it could stroll into. I'm not so sure though. Maybe it doesn't like look at that, but then it might, because what would you do yourself? You know, that's the thing. Anyway, it's away. It's shuffled in. So, giving these a good shuffle. Right. Okay. So no auxiliary card for this impulse for the Soviets. This special is on turns 9 to 10, and then 6 plus to assign a replacement point. So we move down to the next command, which is activate all units in the army. So we're going to at last activate the 40th Army. Okay, so activate 40th Army. There is only 3 units on the map for them. This guy's a 3-step unit. And yeah, there's 3 units, there's no reserve unit. And they have an army objective marker. So when we activate them, oops, got the 40th Army objective marker here. Its compass direction's west, right, and it's got three hexes that it all tracks. So 0311 is the first, but I've got that card right in the way. No, I've not. It's further down actually. 0311 is Belgorod. Oh goody. Right, so that's going to be their first army objective. And just thinking there, I mean, I'm not making excuses for myself missing that one the last time, but you know, I think they could have had them a different colour, the objective markers. You know, the sort of lighter orange, some kind of lighter orange colour for that, and well, yeah, I suppose it would have to be different, but I mean, I don't know, could maybe have been a bit orange and black for that, maybe, or something. Anyway, just, I mean, it's written on the chat what it does, so I'm just being picky. But you never know, if you talk about these things and somebody maybe listens and sort of thinks, you know what, that is a good idea, and maybe like store that away, and maybe the next version might have something like that. I certainly I've no idea if it was anything to do with any comments that I made. Probably not, but I was using, not that I've used it in this game yet, and I think I only used it once in my Soviet Soul, and it was my very last impulse, so it didn't matter. But I found it quite hard tracking the activate 1 unit. Certainly within enemy action Ardennes, and it was because if you use this at the beginning of the turn, you can only do this once per turn. So if you've used it at the beginning of the turn, you could forget. So I put what I called was a sugar cube on top of my cards to remind me that every time I was drawing cards, to remind me that I had used my activate 1 unit. But then they brought out a wee counter for it. So, like I say, probably nothing to do with what I said, but you never know. It might have had some influence. And it makes it easier. Like I say, not that I've used it, but it does make it easier because I got caught up a couple of times. Remember, the good thing, like things like that with me, when you're recording your video footage, you can actually look back in the video footage to find out if you had actually used it, but you don't really want to be doing that. And of course, if you're not recording, you can't do that. Right, anyway, Grant, come on. I'm just trying to drag it out because it's only 3 units we're moving here. That's not what I'm doing at all, but okay, so activate all units. We've placed the army objective marker, right, and so they adhere to, I want to say it's 9.26. Starting to get some numbers in my head now. Yeah, movement methods 4 units with army objectives. Should I just double check on the actual placement of the objective marker? Give me a sec. Yeah, no real need to look at that. Basically it says when first time you activate 40th Army, put in the first hex on the back of the counter. You've got to reach the hex to move it, or reach one of the hexes that are on the counter. And when you activate that army while the counter's there, while the army objective's there, you use 9.26. So let's do that. So 9.26 movement methods for units with army objectives on page 21 if you're interested. And descending order, check active units with an army objective marker, and this is 40th and 1st Guards armies. And then it links you to 9.13, but anyway, one at a time in descending numerical order. Each unit moves according to the following movement methods instead of the movement methods in 9.21, but are still subject to the conditions of 9.23, 9.24 and 9.25. And they are restrictions, tiebreakers, and tactical preferences when moving adjacent to German units. So, movement method 1, and this is in descending order. So let's zoom in on the units for a moment and see what we've got. So 3, 4, and right, I'm just going to bring unit 10 to the top then, because it looks like, yeah, all the methods check in descending order. So the first one is take VP hex, and that's identical to 9.21 method 1. Where are we? Look at the player aid. Yeah, and it's just like wanting to take a VP hex if it happens to be able to. There's not a chance that any of the units can take a VP hex. So, and then movement method 2 is adjacent to German unit, and this is identical to 9.21 method 8. So this says move to unoccupied hex adjacent to German unit and not adjacent to Soviet unit, adjacent to same German unit. Okay, and if they start adjacent to, they don't. Units starting in hex satisfying this method doesn't move. They don't satisfy the method. So, oh yeah, they can do this. Right, so I still like the rule book for this. I don't know why. I can't get away from it. I was fine with the Soviets, so I'm pretty sure I was using the player aid pretty early on, but anyway. So move to an unoccupied hex is adjacent to a German unit and not adjacent to a Soviet unit, adjacent to that same German unit. Right, and this is in descending order. So we've got, well, let me put a cube or two down. It's not going to be many, I don't think. Yeah, there's, it's two options. We're looking at unit 10. Actually, come on, Grant, activate your units. Right, my units are active. Now this has just rung a wee bell for me here. I've been watching some of Michael's videos. When I get a chance, Michael, sorry, I'll catch up when I can, but I'm getting that much done myself that I like to review my footage as well. And I'm watching, whenever I've got the time to watch back on some video footage, I've been doing my own, but I have been trying to squeeze some of your stuff in. And I took a couple of notes on things, and I will post them to the video. I want to say this is maybe your part 15 or something like that, round about that area, 15, maybe 16. And I wasn't sure about this one, but I was going to mention it, and it's maybe relevant here. I think it was this movement method you were looking at, and let's just do it in the rulebook. So move to an unoccupied hex that is adjacent to a German unit and not adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to that same German unit. And not adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to that same German unit. Yeah, I think I maybe have something there, but we'll see, Michael. I'll have a look at it again, and I just remember taking a wee note of it, and I put a wee note on my phone and say, is that something to look at? Because could this be an option? I mean, right away you're thinking, well, this isn't an option because he's adjacent to German unit and the Soviet unit's adjacent to the same German unit. I'm just trying to read the wording on that there, because I know that there was something like this came up in the Soviet solo as well, and I didn't realise that I got this wrong, and Martin pointed it out to me. Although you could see how you could read it wrong, and I think it's similar to this because it was a similar situation. I suppose what I'm looking at here, and you know what's better in this case, is actually moving the unit in. So let's just say this guy went 1, 2 into there, right? Now we know he's adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to the same German unit. So that might wipe this out and say, right, you can't go there. But he is adjacent to this German unit, and that Soviet unit isn't adjacent, you know? You get what I'm saying there? So it's just reading that properly, though. Move to an unoccupied hex, right? It's an unoccupied hex, okay? That is adjacent to a German unit. Let's just say he's adjacent to this German unit. We're not looking at this one. He's adjacent to a German unit and not adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to that same German unit. So that is true. However, when he moves here, he's also adjacent to this German unit. And you've got to kind of consider that, haven't you? Move to an unoccupied hex that is adjacent to a German unit and not adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to that same German unit. I think this is very similar to the one. I'm going to get the rule book out again and have a look. See if it's exactly the same, maybe. Okay, I was hunting for an action step that led me to that. I'm looking at Soviet solar rules again. I think it's the instruction in 10.54 actually, and it's the one that got some change to the word in. And the word in the rulebook is a hex not adjacent to German unit adjacent to the same Soviet unit. And is that the same? If I'm moving that, is that a hex? See, that. I don't think that's the same wording, is it? I feel like I'm probably trying to pick on something here again, like you do, Grant. You just make it more than it needs to be. Whereas, what am I looking at? I'm all muddled up now. 9.26. Yeah, well, it's movement method 8, isn't it? Yeah. Move to an unoccupied hex. Right. That bit doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, but that's not the bit. So move to a hex that is adjacent to a German unit and not adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to that same German unit. Give me a second here. I think they're different, aren't they? Man, they're hard for me to read, honestly. So let's try and cut it up a bit and say hex that is adjacent to a German unit and not adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to that same German unit, compared to a hex not adjacent to a German unit adjacent to the same Soviet unit. Oh, I can't. There's no way I'm going to be able to read both of these sentences and decide which ones, if they're the same or not. Because they're also switching. We're also talking German units and Soviet units because we're looking at two different rule books. I'm pretty sure this is allowed, by the way. I'm pretty sure this is allowed. And it's the word that in there, right? Move to an unoccupied hex that is adjacent to a German unit and not adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to that same German unit. Move to adjacent to a German unit. And not adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent. No, it is. It's got it. Yeah, it is. Because although I'm saying I'm moving adjacent to this German unit, that's my intention, right? Well, that's what I'm looking at. And although that's my intention, I'm still moving adjacent to this German unit, which is adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to that same German unit. Yeah, I don't think we can do it. Oh well, that's I think that's right anyway. But you can kind of see. I mean, I don't know. That's maybe me just reading too deeply into these things. I think you know what I'm trying to say. I'm looking at this unit. I'm trying to avoid looking at this unit, but if the rules say it, you know. And I think that was the same. That 10.54 rule done the same, and it caught me out because I was blinkered to this unit. I was just had my eyes on this unit and said, well, no, there's not another Soviet unit adjacent to this unit, so I'm good. But we need to consider this as well. So I think there are two options, but by all means, let me know if you think that I might have that wrong. So unit 10, we're talking about, he's got two choices, tiebreakers, and they're both unoccupied hexes. They're both adjacent to a German unit and not adjacent to a Soviet unit, adjacent to the same German unit. That's correct. Even though this one's adjacent to a Soviet unit, they're not both adjacent to the German unit, okay? So preferences are a hex adjacent to the most German units. Well, they're both adjacent to one. And then preference B is a German unit to which no Soviet unit is adjacent. A German unit to which no Soviet unit is adjacent. Yeah, they're fine with that as well. No, wait, eh? Yeah, hex adjacent to the most. Hex adjacent to the most German units. Right. That doesn't break it down. And then prefer a German unit to which no Soviet unit is adjacent. Okay. Hang on, this is just try to break. This is just try to break the actual target, isn't it? And of course, yeah. The thing is, as soon as we move adjacent to the German unit, we look at 9.25, don't we? There's not really any point. We've got, it's not going to break this down. Movement method 8 just looks at, it's just trying to find, it's similar to the one that's trying to find the VP hex, which is movement method 2. Movement method 8 is really just trying to find the target German unit. It's not trying to tell you what hex you're going to move to. That's taken care of by 9.25. The closest German unit. Are you not starting? Yeah, it doesn't help you out there. So, I mean, yeah, I suppose you could initially think, well, just look at tiebreakers there. And here we go again. But, well, tiebreakers would say, closest units, objective marker. Well, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's going to be westernmost again, isn't it? Empty hex, they're both empty, and this is the compass direction. So this is a tiebreaker. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and well, yeah, might as well look at it that way. Tactical preferences. 9.25. We're not getting surround. And oh yeah, hold on then. See. Yeah, it's throwing another sort of little bit in here again, because it's not just these two hexes we can reach. We can reach this one as well. And even though that didn't conform to the word I can never remember, requirements, that didn't conform to the requirements because it is well, this is the one I was asking about, I suppose, trying to find a way to do it. So, well, we'll put the unit in the hex that would have tiebreak between the two. So let's just see what 9.25 would have done. We can't surround the unit, no. A hex not adjacent to a Soviet unit. Right, a hex not occupied by or adjacent to a Soviet unit. That is adjacent, that is adjacent, that is adjacent. So that doesn't break it down. An empty hex, they're all empty. A hex not occupied by an active unit. They're all not active unit. They're all not got that. So between the three, this is the one we tiebreak to. So I'm guessing that's going to be the same. We'll see if you then looked at tiebreakers for that. that would be more Western as well, wouldn't it? So if we were to go back to tiebreakers with the three choices, they're always close to the objective marker. They're all empty hexes. Hex furthest in compass direction. That rules that one out, right? Definitely. And then in or closest to a hex in Soviet support, they're all Soviet support. The highest numbered hex. Yeah, it's got it again. It's still got it. I can't seem to break that, so maybe it's unbreakable. So there we go, he does go to the right hex. I'm sure it's going to happen at some point, but I don't know, that's been quite a few times I said, right, okay, well let's see what happens, and it still ends up with the same hex, so maybe it's taken care of. Right, who would be next? Unit 4. Well, there's a problem now because I don't think they have an option, do they? Yeah, not with movement method 8 because that's going to be adjacent to a Soviet unit, adjacent to the same German unit, and so is that. So we can't, and they can't get any further around to find anything else. These are all, there's no point in me trying to get in there. I might be able to get in there, 1, 2, 3, yeah, I could possibly get in that hex, but again, it's not adjacent to a German unit, that's not adjacent to a Soviet unit, adjacent to that same German unit. Right, Grant, okay. So that was method 2 of 9.26. So method 3, right, this is its own one. We've not done this one yet. So step 3 is closer to German unit and army objective. Locate the German unit in or closest to the active army objective marker hex. Among German units closest to the objective, prefer the unit and some preferences. And then it says move as close as possible to that German unit, entering a hex adjacent to that unit if able. If starting adjacent to the German unit that is in or closest to the objective hex, the unit does not move at all in this activation except as directed by 9.25. Right, okay, so we're wanting to, our target is going to be the German unit that's closest to us, and then we're going to move as close to it, I think. So German unit in or closest to the army objective marker. Right, well this guy is 1, 2, 3 away. This guy is 1, 2, 3, 4 away. 4. So there is our target, the second SS unit. He's the closest to the army objective marker, right? And then among German units closest to the objective, yeah, that would be tiebreakers, yeah. This is like prefer the unit and the hex closest to the moving unit, the highest numbered hex. Yeah, so we've not, this is our target, we can't break it down. We don't need to break it down any further than that. Right, okay. Move as close as possible to that German unit, enter a hex adjacent to that unit if able. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, and this is in descending order, so unit 4, move as close as possible to this guy. Right. Where's that going to take us then? Let us see. Let's say it's that hex there, and that's 1, 2, 3 away. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is room in there. There are two-step units. And that's 1, 2, 3 away. Can he reach there? 1, 2, 3. Well, actually, he can. Right, okay, and that's 3 away as well. So that is an option too. And that's 4 away, and that's 4 away. So there's unit 4's 2 options, and there's space in the hexes for it. Yeah, so there's nothing to preference between the two. Again, I could look at tiebreakers. However, we are moving adjacent to a German unit, so tiebreakers. I'm liking to do that. I'm wanting to come across one where I go tiebreakers, 9.25 back to tiebreakers, and everything blows up. So closest, well, tiebreakers closest to the unit's objective marker. Well, that's what we're doing. They're both 3. an empty hex. Neither of them are. The hex furthest in the compass direction, yeah. So it is that one. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4 on top. Yeah, but because we're moving adjacent, we can get to this hex and this hex. So 9.25. Yeah. The unit's already surrounded. Hex not occupied by or adjacent to this unit. I'm wasting my time going through these, am I? There's no empty. A hex not occupied by an active. A hex not occupied by an active unit. Yeah, they're both not. Yeah, they were both not active units in the hexes. So again, if we now go back to tiebreakers, if we really need to, it's going to end up there. Right, no restrictions broken yet as well. Okay, and then one more unit to move. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's right. So he's going to go closer to, and it's the same. He's wanting to move closer to this guy as well, isn't he? Now he's 3 steps, remember, so, well, mind you, that hex is now full and he wouldn't be able to reach that, so. Okay, so there's the 2 choices. Try to get as close as possible to this guy. These are both 1, 2, 3, 4 away. I'm seeing an empty hex there, Grant. So tiebreakers closest to empty hex, right? So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 into there. Again, I've still not looked at 9.2. Well, I don't need to look at 9.25 because he's not adjacent to a German unit this time, Grant. So he goes there. That was tiebreak to there. We don't need to check 9.25, thankfully. Because, yeah. Somebody's going to tell me, right, Grant, all you need to do is this, rather than go through all that. I might get it right, guys. Yeah, I might get it right. Okay. That's it. Right. Well, can we check for any combat? Is there any checks to be made? Well, this guy is adjacent and this guy is adjacent, so yeah, but we don't have any reserves, we don't have any auxiliary card. Well, this guy's a 3, he's nothing to check. This guy's a 4, but he's on his own. Remember, we're not counting these guys underneath. So he's on his own. He's checking 4 against 5. And there's not any additions or subtractions to that, so it's less than 1 to 1, so that's not going to happen. Where's the other guy? Was there no, there was only 3, wasn't there? I kept thinking there was 4. No, there was only 3, Grant. That's right. Keep wanting to think he's under here, but well, he would be turned the other way, Grant, because you know how to do that on occasion. So this guy checking here, this is the only other check. This is 3 against 2. However, he's got an IP, so it's 3 against 3. And then he's adjacent to a supplied German unit, so it's 3 against 4. So again, that's less than 1 to 1 as well. No attacks. Yeah, probably could have been a really quick impulse, but you managed to take some time over it, Grant. So we've done conduct attack checks. Now every unit moves, so we can't bounce any back to reserves. There's no disperse markers. Yeah, that's it. So he is there, and now I've got a triple. What I think I might do, well, no, I'll just leave it now. Yeah, this is going to get messy because I've got 3 different units in here. I'm trying to show their bands at the top. That's about the best I'm going to do in it. Okay, so just need to look a bit more closely at that. Probably should put 3rd tank at the top because they're Oh well, we'll just leave it anyway. Right, so that was that's done with that 40th Army activation. So that was nice. That's their impulse all done because they shuffled the other card in. So I think we know what we're doing next. I'm just going to cut this video, and unfortunately, yeah, I'm better just coming back tomorrow to do it. It is pretty late now, so. And if I do my impulse, it's probably going to be quite quick, and then I'll be wanting to draw another 2 cards for the Soviets, and then that'll make it not so quick, no doubt. But it does look like we're going to jump into there, because remember, it's the 3rd Corps we can't activate, but we can activate 2nd SS. We've got the 4th Panzer Army card. Activate 2nd SS again. This guy jumps into there. This guy, 1, 2, 3, 4, jumps into there. And that's nice, actually. That feels good. And I like the 3rd Corps movement the last time as well. Yeah, I mean, I know we're only on turn 2 and not even nearly anywhere through it, but we got rid of the Stavka card as well, didn't we? Yeah, we did. That was nice, eh? I know the unit got eliminated, but it was just one of the Rouse units, so yeah, I'm sure I shouldn't be saying it like that, but you've got your strong, you know your stronger units for your weaker ones, eh? Okay, yeah, feeling quite good about how things are going. Not going to have quite as much time tomorrow. Got a few more things to do tomorrow. So, but yeah, I should be able to get a bit done before I actually go and do the things, because it's like an afternoon thing. So if I'm up early enough, we might try and get this, get our impulse done, and maybe another Soviet impulse. We'll see. Right, okay. Give me a sec just before we go. Okay, just thought I'd have a final check just in case anybody had come and spoil the party by telling me that I've made a huge mistake in part 14. However, that is part 14. What am I saying this one as? I think this is 18, is it not, Grant? Yikes. So, I've still not uploaded 15, 16 or 17 yet. But 15 was a big one. That was, 14. 14 was a big one, so. Yeah, okay, well, we'll see what happens. That is the problem when I have got to do a lot more recording, that if an error pops up and you're like, it's a couple of parts ago, and it's sometimes impossible to fix, really, innit? But all you can do then is just highlight it and not do it again. Anyway, right, okay, I'll be back tomorrow with part, what will be 19? Is this 18? I'm forgetting now, Whatever the next part is, I'll be back with that tomorrow. Okay, cheers.